Guys, I am super excited. You know, I didn't actually start feeling fear until now. When we're just about to do the activity, that's when your highest peak of fear possesses you. But if you take action and overcome, that's when that activity will change your life. So if you feel fear, do it. Take that step, take that chance, take that leap, and remember why you're doing it. So the purpose has to remain the reason that you will overcome fear at any given point, and that makes you a comfort killer. I'm here. I'm at Kevin Harrington's home, and I appreciate it so much.
You know, I'm a kind of person that if something scares me, that means I need to do it.
Comfort killers. So tell them where we are and what we're doing today.
We're actually at Kevin Harrington's house, and Stacy's going to sit down and do a very personal interview with him that you guys are going to be able to watch.
Yeah, and not only are you going to watch, you're going to get the key takeaways, what I am learning from the experience, what Kevin's going to teach us here today, and things that you could actually apply inside of your strategies and implement on a daily basis to get uncomfortable. I want you to reach success. I want you to maximize whatever potential you have, and we're here to pull that potential, show you that you are already a comfort killer. I am Stacy A. Cross. There is no E in my name. Good evening, good night, good dusk. Whenever you are listening, it is always the perfect time. I am Stacy A. Cross, and there is no E in my name. That's my introduction. This man needs none, okay? On my right, to your left on TV, I'm sitting with a global innovator, someone that has created so much in his entire career. I looked it up, Kevin. Yep. I'm not gonna lie, I looked it up.
Yep.
500 products.
Yep.
5 billion sold, and you're still going. I'm sitting with the shark himself, the original shark, Mr. Kevin Harrington. Thank you so much
Stacy,
for being here.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Well, thank you for having me here.
Yeah.
In your beautiful home. I love it.
It's great. You know what? It's thanks for coming to Florida.
Yes.
I moved here 22 years ago, and I've never left.
Yes.
Okay, so, well, except when I fly out, right? You know, but I still live here.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you came from Cincinnati, right?
Cincinnati through Philadelphia, yeah. But I spent almost 30 years in Cincinnati, 10 years in Philadelphia. Been here a long time too.
So I live in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
The home of Rocky, the underdog.
Yeah, sure, yes.
You ever feel like you're an underdog as far as coming up in the stages?
Yes, absolutely. Actually, believe it or not, every single day I feel I'm the underdog, because every single day I'm launching something. I'm part of a new launch of something,
yes.
Right? I mean, right now, of the dozens of deals that I'm involved with, there's at least 5 or 8 of them that are complete startups. And so we are just groveling to get those off the ground.
Wow.
Raising money, getting the right staff, getting products manufactured, whatever it might be. We're underdogs every single day. And that's what I love about my business, is some are at advanced stages where they're taking off like this on the stock market, and others are just getting off the ground.
Yeah.
So I love it.
So, in terms of, I met you, the first time I met you was in 10X GrowthCon.
Yes.
You had a beautiful talk there, and it hit me because you were talking about access to assets in a way to strategically aggregate that, get partnerships. So you're one man.
Yeah.
So how are you able to start up all these new businesses, advanced businesses? Is it through partnerships, through asset creation?
I think in the old days, I said I can do it all myself, right? So I'm just going to hire a bunch of people. I had my own media company. We had 30 people there. I had my own fulfillment company. We had 100 people. We had our own customer service. We had our own 35,000 square foot production studio with about 60 people in there, maybe, give or take, right? So I wanted to own it all, control it all, have it all report to me, right? But at the end of the day, I could have farmed out a lot of those things. The phone calls, the customer service, the fulfillment, all the things that I could do for pennies on the dollar. But for some reason, I thought I had to own it all. So today, you have access to these assets. It's the world is so virtual now.
Right.
I mean, you know, when Snapchat first started, they used Amazon's cloud space. They used Square's financial software, and so they partnered with all these folks, and with 20 employees, their business grew to $4 billion in value, right? So I say to myself now, I was doing $500 million a year, 500 employees, but I was managing employees instead of innovating. And so once I finally decided that's not the right model, I, you know, sold off this, sold off that, closed down this, closed down that, contracted it all out. I operate everything now with less than 15 people, and life's a lot simpler. And now I have a phone center that manages all the phone calls, and that's all they do. They do it great. We have a customer service center that manages that. We have the fulfillment center that does everything there, and then media separate and apart. So life's simpler as you can see from that standpoint. Now, you also said, what about partnership?
Yes.
So I don't know if we want to go there yet, but the bottom line is, so just for my own companies now, virtual and access to assets, that's the new ownership model, okay? So, and by the way, a lot of people, about half of the millennial world wants to be involved in gig kind of deals, like Uber and Airbnb, you know, all these companies, Airbnbs are, you know, they're doing these kind of, you don't need to own your own place when you can rent somebody else's place. And Uber, you don't need to, you know, pay for your own limo or a taxi when somebody will pick you up for half the price, right? This is called the gig economy. So we are taking advantage of this gig economy. But now, you said, why do these partnerships, right? So I'll just let you think about it this way. And I love the comfort and uncomfortable concept, because you know how uncomfortable it is to start from scratch and launch something all the way, all by yourself?
Yes.
It's tough.
Yes.
Every day you're saying to yourself, this is very difficult to get all of the, let's take an example. We were launching a mobile app, okay? And so if you're gonna launch a mobile app, there's the technology side, and then there's the distribution side. So let's say you can get the technology done, right? How are you gonna get it on millions of phones? What would you do? You've got to, that's the uncomfort zone, right? You know, it's, you want to talk about being uncomfortable? Think about waking up today and saying, okay, I got all the tech done, but now I got to get on 6 million phones.
Right.
How are you going to do it? You know what I said? I want it to be easy. I'm going to partner with Sprint, the cell phone company. And you know, I walked in and met with the CEO, Marcelo Clar, and I said, if you put this app on every mobile phone that you activate, I'll give you a percentage of all sales and I'll make you a partner in my business. And you know what he did? Jumped up, said, I love it, let's do the deal, brought in the lawyers, and a few months later, we were partners with Sprint. And a few months later, we were on 6 million phones.
So easy. I mean, there's easier ways to do it. Like, you know, if I miss my flight, right, and I need to get somewhere, I don't have to go build the car, create, where's the blueprint? I just go out and rent a car. It's already done. It's just accessing that and understanding that.
Access to assets.
I love it. So, well, I wanted to start off with this question, and it totally slipped my mind, but as you're looking right at me, I'm wondering, what As Unseen TV product are you using to look so young, so energetic? Please give me and the Comfort Killers the deal on that.
Well, you know, I wish it was one product, you know, because then everybody could, you know, be wealthy listening because they could go sell it, right? But no, you know, I tell you what it is. It's, I started an organization with a handful of young entrepreneurs, and we called it the Young Entrepreneurs Organization, 1987, 30 years ago. This is our 30th year anniversary, 2017, right? And so it was called YEO, it's now called EO, and it's now in 45 countries, 150 cities. And it's the largest entrepreneurial organization in the world. So we said, Michael Dell was one of these guys back in the beginning, and Ted Leonsis, who's the #2 guy at AOL. They're both billionaires. And so we said, let's help and form a little group where we can, as young entrepreneurs, share information on how to become more successful and some of the things, some of the hacks that we've learned over the time, right? And so I think that because we've all kind of kept in touch over the years and maintained this relationship inside the EO now, that we've had access to becoming less uncomfortable, okay? You know, if that makes sense, right? Does anyone understand that? How do you become less uncomfortable? Get access to mentors, gurus, people that have been there and done that. Because you know what turns your hair gray? Making a lot of mistakes, failing all the time. Now, by the way, I believe in failure as part of the learning process, but you got to have some good successes along the way too. So, you know, Winston Churchill said, if you fail your way to success is how you do it, right? But for me, I'll fail 2-3 times, and then when I hit one, it's big, and that's what I love. So that keeps me young and excited, and I wake up every single morning with a smile on my face, right? I love that. And I think that keeps us all young, right?
No,
so,
I love that,
you know,
especially with what's going on. I mean, you could legitimately change your environment by just changing your inside, and I think that you wake up every day just like that, in that mood, no matter what's going on.
Okay, so here we're in sunny Florida. It's sunny 345 days a year here. I like that. I get to play golf when I want. I get to go boating. You know, tonight, Bono's in town for the U2 concert. It's an outdoor concert at Raymond James Stadium. So, you know, I'm still hanging out with all the youngsters, and of course there's some oldsters that are going to be there too, I think.
But you're keeping energetic.
Yes. And so you know, and I've got 2 boys that keep me young, 28 and 19. So they love doing things, and my wife is just super special. Crystal she's a little bit younger than me, I'll say, so she keeps me young too, right?
No, that's absolutely fantastic. And in terms, because I arrived here yesterday, and I did stop over to your office.
Yes.
And you do have a media agency, a full-fledged media agency. And I was seeing some of the inner workings, which is beautiful. Tell us more about Quantum Media. Is the name of the media agency.
So back in the early 80s, I started a company called Quantum Marketing, and that company actually grew. Quantum Marketing changed into Quantum International, which ended up public on the New York Stock Exchange. So it started with a $25,000 investment. It grew to $500 million in sales as a New York Stock Exchange company, Quantum International. And then we sold that off, and I tried to retire for a little bit, but you know, the funny thing is I was only in my 40s, and so, you know, I said, after 6 months of kind of laying back, because I had like a non-compete, I'm like, I can't wait to get back into this great business, because you know what excites me is partnering with new people to help take their business to the next step. So when I started in this new world that I'm in, we talked about access to assets, right? And I said to myself, you know, the old way was as seen on TV, and it's still, as seen on TV is still an industry, and I'm still in that business, right? I still sell to Home Shopping Network and QVC UK, Italy, France, Germany, Japan, etc. We're all around the world still selling on TV. But that now is a smaller part of my business, because the world has changed and TV viewership has dropped by 50%. Where have they gone? Digital. They're on Facebook, they're on Pinterest, they're on Netflix, they're on Instagram, all these other places. So that's what Quantum Media is. So I had Quantum International, and I said, I love that concept of quantum, which means fast growth. And so I said, let's start a media company, and we can help. It's a digital media agency, and we have some really cool clients, some of which I'm confidentially can't even mention, because there's, you know, some are $100 billion plus in size, the companies, and we are confidentially bound not to discuss who they are, but we're generating leads for big companies, and then we've got small companies too, but everywhere in between. But what we do, we're very creative. We end up taking equity in companies sometimes in lieu of big fees. So that's kind of, this is, you know, it's the new way, and it's, you know, I love this whole uncomfortable thing, because it's whenever you're starting something, you know, you got to go raise money. That's an uncomfortable position for a lot of people, right? So they can come to us. you know, why do people come on Shark Tank? They want some money from the shark, right? Well, look, I don't have to necessarily always just write the check. Maybe I do some digital media for them. So that has become one of our little vehicles of investing in companies. So we take equity in exchange for, we help them grow by bringing marketing plans to the table. So it's a sort of a venture media company. Right.
No, that's awesome. Like I saw the work that you guys are doing there. Very impressed with it. And which brings me to the space of, yes, digital is now the language.
Yes.
And you know, coming from your background and your expertise, where it's the ab roller, it's the knife.
Yes.
You know, it's something tangible we can ship to your home. Now there's more info kind of products, more digital products. How do you see that transition, even in your own innovation and your own growing, to get to that? To, you know, how do you sell that? How do you brand that? How do you monetize that coming from your hardcore entrepreneur digital side?
Right. So look, in the early days, we started taking downtime on TV stations, the cable networks. Discovery Channel was only an 18-hour-a-day network. I ended up owning 6 hours a day on Discovery Channel for 365 days a year on a multi-year contract. So we would take our infomercials, put them on there. We would build the brand. Tony Little, Jack LaLanne, George Foreman, selling their products, right? Putting them on TV, then driving them to retail. That was my business model. Then I decided, wait a minute, TV viewership is dropping. Where are they going? Oh, people are spending 2 hours a day on Facebook. Well, let's start marketing on Facebook. So once we started this transition, and this goes back, you know, 4 or 5 years ago now, and now much more aggressively in the last 2 years, we now are putting these ads up. And what's changed is this. We used to run 30-minute shows, and we would run 30 minutes on one product. You can't put 30 minutes on one product on Facebook, okay? So, you know, so we've learned it's a little bit different way to sell. You've got to tease them, and then we say please them.
Tease them and please them.
Pretty quickly, okay? Sometimes you only got 30 seconds, 60 seconds, 90 seconds. So we've learned how to shorten the selling cycle. We also have learned the customers on social media channels, they're looking for authentic products, authentic salespeople also, because they're not buying the hustle that existed in the old time. Now me, I was never one of these, you know, get rich quick kind of guys on TV. I sold products. I sold fitness products and kitchen products and, you know, grills and mixers and knife sets and real products that we vacuum cleaners, whatever, hard goods we call it. But, you know, you got to be careful because they want real, authentic products, or you're going to get all these negative stars, you know, or 1 star, this product's no good, because the authenticity's got to be for real. Absolutely. So it worked very well for me to move my product selling from TV over to the internet, and now when we're on Facebook, we're doing the same thing. We're building brands. We're helping build these brands with all these companies, and then we show the products to QVC and Home Shopping Network. Then we put them on TV. Then we put them in retail.
So you just change the sales cycle, focus on the internet first, focus on the ad first, and then kind of shorten that.
Yes.
So I see it as the same thing, but you're just utilizing digital space.
Exactly.
Okay.
So actually, what we do is digital has become a very great testing grounds for us. I call it a test before you invest situation, because, you know, we can go, Facebook ads are you can get them for as cheap as $5, right? So if I can run, you know, 20 $5 ads, that's $100, okay? Now let's do that 5 days in a row. I spent $500. I'm going to see whether or not the people on Facebook like this or not for $500. Now, in the old days, that was 50 grand on TV, okay? You know, so I like 500 a lot better than 50 grand. I'm a lot less uncomfortable, as they say, right? So, because, you know, I totally understand this uncomfortableness feeling, because it's like anytime we would have to then go spend money, write the big check, what happens? you feel that
feel that
knot in
knot.
your stomach,
And
right?
and in your throat.
Right, okay? So someone comes in, they want some money. It's going to cost us $150,000 to test something.
Yeah.
I'm real uncomfortable right
Yeah,
now, okay?
absolutely.
But if they come in and I say, well, you know what? It's not $100,000 anymore. It's $500, or maybe it's $2,500. But whatever, the numbers are still okay, right? It's reasonable. So it's, you know, this is the new model.
Yeah. So you know what? Let's play a game.
Yeah.
Let's take entrepreneur A,
Okay.
startup entrepreneur A, and see if we could kind of give him or her some advice to take him or her company to monetization.
Okay.
He's going to travel along the ribbon here.
Right.
Entrepreneur A just got in the game, got really uncomfortable in watching our stuff, learning a lot, and says, you know what? I want to sell a product. I don't know what to sell. First problem entrepreneur A has.
Yeah.
Could you help entrepreneur A?
Absolutely. So people, this is one thing my wife always gets a little upset with me about, because I still to this day go to more than 25 trade shows a year.
Yeah, you do.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so the houseware show, the hardware show, the consumer electronics show, you know, and I'm going to the Bitcoin show coming up here. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, now, why do I do all these? Because I'm networking, right? And I'm looking for new products and new relationships and new partnerships, right? So people sit there and they say, Kevin, you're so lucky. You get all this great product flow. Well, take 30 years of going to 30 trade shows. That's 1,000 trade shows almost. All of the relationships that I formed over those years, these are the people continuing to call me now for, you know, every year with new deals and new ideas and new distribution. So if you want to get into business, but you don't know what it is you're going to do, you can't sit at home. You got to get out there. Now, this morning, FedEx was here at 6:55 a.m. Okay, so I actually was dressed and I was walking down the steps to my front, and the FedEx lady says, oh, you must have just gotten back from vacation. I said, why? She said, because you have 5 newspapers sitting in your lawn. And I said, no, that's every day. She says, no, what do you mean? I think this looks like a week's worth. No, I get 5 every day. Why? Because I love to read. I get trade journals. I get catalogs. I go to trade shows. This is called curiosity overload. And there isn't a day that goes by that I'm not reading something that I'm contacting somebody just from my own reading efforts. Okay? So I read a lot. I subscribe to a lot of stuff. I go to many websites on a daily basis, Amazon and QVC.com, HSN.com. I'm looking to see what are the hottest selling products, the hottest selling categories. Then I'm going to trade shows, I'm speaking, and I'm saying, if you've got an idea, bring it to me. So, and by the way, nowadays, what are we doing right now? Putting out some Facebook and putting out some information to the world to say, hey, look, if you got something, give us a call. Give me a call. So this is the new way to communicate. Facebook Live and all the social media channels. So it's a supercharged effort to communicate to the world that I'm interested in being a partner with you in your venture, possibly, or your product. So if you're looking for the product, do some of the steps that I just talked through, and that's how it all starts.
Well, I love that, because entrepreneur A now has been investing in himself and learning more, found a product. Yes, I want to sell this product.
Now he's going to find it. By the way, I do a trip to Hong Kong and China, where we take a team of people, 50, 60, 80 people at a time over there and introduce them to dozens and dozens of factories. And so they go to some trade shows while we're over there. And this has been amazing, eye-opener for many companies, because you don't know what you want? Come with us to China, and we'll drop you into a zone that's got thousands of factories that have a lot of hot products. That's one of our services that we provide entrepreneurs. Okay, so that's that. Now, what are you going to do from there? Is the next question, right? Well, so you have to decide how you're going to market the product. Okay, because you're an entrepreneur. You found something you think is good, but will people buy it? You've got to go test market the product. So you put together a test marketing plan, and you got to build a website, you got to build a microsite, you got to put some ads together. Are you going to need to shoot any video? Might be good. So you've got to shoot a little bit of video. probably some, low budget video. You could maybe use your iPhone and shoot some video, right? You don't have to go spend 50 grand. You can shoot it maybe $1,000 or $2,000, right? So you build a website, a microsite, build a funnel, and then you got to get some ads out there. And I recommend digitally testing. I say test before you invest on Facebook or Instagram or one of these places, or maybe some Google AdWords, pay-per-click type stuff. But all in, building a site, shooting the video, testing, 5,000 to 7,500, maybe 10 grand, all in. So, if you're an entrepreneur and you're going to start your business, that's not a bad investment. If, let's say it was $10,000, now after that's done, you're going to know whether you have something or not. So if you can do it as cheap as $5,000, I mean, where else could you maybe start a multi-million-dollar business for $5 grand? This is how you do it. Go get the product, then follow those instructions, build your funnel, test it, and you'll know real quick.
I love it. I love it. So entrepreneur A, and there's many entrepreneurs A's out there, comfort killers, that are like, hey, where do I get the product? You heard it here. Kevin Harrington dropped some golden bars on us and what we have to do. Then test before we invest, which is key, because we don't want to, you said it earlier, we're failing, there's no point, you go over here, there's already results there, and there's people, mentorship, there's products that are already built, so it's easier to actually get to success through rapid failure, and this is a cheap way, and also a way that you can learn more about yourself. Is this the business for you? Is this the product for you? Am I comfortable right now? So guys, I wanted to ask you that question because there's many that just don't know.
Right.
And so we're going to get right now into what does the next 5 to 10 years look like for Mr. Kevin Harrington. What are you trying? What's your focus right now?
So my focus now in the next 5 years, because I have a 5-year plan to keep pretty busy for 5 years, and then at the end of the 5 years, I'm going to go on a much slower schedule, and I'm never going to retire, okay? Because I love doing deals, but like right now, I do 100+ events a year. So two a week, give or take. Some weeks 3, some weeks 4. I do more international events now. I'm coming up. I'll be in Zurich next week, Berlin, Rome, and Zurich, Berlin, and Rome next week. Okay, so and then I come back, and then then I go to Australia, then I go back to Copenhagen and Stockholm, and et cetera, et cetera. So I'm doing a lot of then I go to Sao Paulo, Brazil. So that's just the international side. I'm doing a lot of speaking, a lot of events, and I'm going to continue that for the next 5 years. And so part of that process is meeting a lot of people, venturing and picking some hand-picked opportunities to partner with and continue to launch products, okay? And then after 5 years, as I kind of just decide, I'm not, again, I don't use the word, the R word, retire, okay?
We don't do it, you tried it before.
But let's use the L word for the S word for slow down, okay? Because, by the time I get through the next 5 years, I will have pretty much gone. I mean, I just hit my 60th birthday last October, so so it's been a few months now. But when I hit 65, I'm going to slow down and just kind of enjoy, play a little more golf and that kind of stuff.
Golf.
But and I say I'll work half a week, like only 40 hours, okay? Instead of 80, right? Half a week, 40 hours, right?
Well, you know what? Your team here mentioned your calendar. They're open to your calendar, and they're like, wow. They're like, man, I'm not doing enough. I was like, wait, what's on his calendar this week? And so, we always got to up our level, but I do understand the slowdown. You put in the time. So you're burning to, I'm noticing there's a lot of more, masterminds and coaching. Is that what you're?
Yeah, I think what this phase is masterminding, coaching, partnering. And I think it's, because in the old days, I got more active in wanting to own and control and run these ventures. Now I realize there's smarter people at running businesses than me. I just want to own a little piece, If I can own a little piece of dozens of companies that become huge companies,
Yeah.
then at the end of the day, that's better than owning all of one or two companies
yeah.
that you have all the headaches of,
Absolutely.
right? So my model is, I can own 5%, 10%, 2%, 30%. It depends on the business and where they are.
Yeah.
But I'm not the CEO of any company that I'm involved with. So other than I have a holding company of my own, and so that one company which holds the entities and equities of these others, that's the only company that I control and own and the CEO of. So I want to be a minority partner in all of these other ventures. And by the way, several of them are public companies. I'll tell you something that's very exciting. One of the companies I got involved with, I got stock at $1 a share, and it went to 9, it went to 15, it went to 20. So, it's pretty cool to be sitting around in a day. You got millions of shares, and it just went up $3. Wow. Okay, so that is a very nice feeling, and again, I'm not the CEO. I don't want to run that company. I just want to have my little stake. And so that's kind of what I'm doing. But now I've got a couple. We had one that went from 10 cents to over $4.
Yeah, I heard about
right?
that.
I love those kind of deals. So I'm involved in, probably about 8 or 9 public companies right now. Those are fabulous because you can trade the stock, you can sell the stock, and by the way,
you don't have the headache.
You don't have the headache. I'm on the board maybe or an advisory board.
Yeah.
They got a CEO, they got a COO, they've got all the people in place to run the company. I just want to give my wisdom and bring some influencers to the table.
I love it.
It's fun.
So how does one get in touch with you? How could we work with you? How could we learn more about what you're looking for as far as a business? If you see the business out there, what makes you say yes or no? Is it the business, the potential, or is it the person behind it?
Well, I think it's a combination, and I'll say this because there's been some statements on Shark Tank once. I had a battle with Kevin O'Leary, and O'Leary said, I like this deal because I bet on the jockey and I like the entrepreneur. And I said, and I learned the hard way that I don't bet on the jockey. And I said, O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful, okay, I disagree with you. I don't bet on the jockey because, if you go, I just got back from the Belmont race this weekend, and I was at Churchill Downs when they had the Kentucky Derby recently. If you talk to a trainer, you know what he says? The jockey, I can get any jockey to ride my horse, okay? Says it's training that horse. It's the doctors and the trainers and it's the surrounding team. So a jockey has a supporting team of I call them a dream team, right? So if the jockey doesn't have a dream team, I'm out. So if I want to know from that entrepreneur, do you have a finance guy? Do you have a digital guy? Do you have an operations guy? Do you have all the other people around you? Because if you don't, if I just bet on you could take my money and be done with it, right? So tell me about the dream team you've assembled, and that's important to me, right?
And then the horse. Tell me about that horse.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. Obviously, and the training that it's had, the doctor, the medicine, the history of of treatment, and all the different things that go behind it. So in business, you know what it's sort of almost, think about this. Can you, as an entrepreneur, handle every day tons and tons of uncomfortableness situations, okay? Or can you delegate some of that uncomfort to other people so that you handle certain things that are uncomfortable, but a body can't just all day long be doing all of it, right? You have to be able to delegate that uncomfortable feeling as you're growing your business. So, and you deal with the major things that need to be taken care of.
Outsourcing. I do it here every day. It's like, what is the core competency that I need to handle on a daily basis? All the rest we need outsourced.
Exactly.
That's it. So I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited with your next ventures as I'm learning more about you, and the time that I spent here in St. Petersburg. It's beautiful. I think you chose the best place here, and I think do you golf here?
Right on the other side of that water is a golf course. Yeah,
it makes it so easy. I mean, let me just go over there. But what I've learned more is that you're taking the time to build, and it's authentic. And it's real. And when I'm here, I feel real with you.
Thank you.
And you know, as part of the Comfort Killers, it's always about what is the next step. It's the A to the B to the C. I don't care about A to Z right now.
Right.
Just tell me what is the next level that I could do to move myself or my company further. So as we said before, this is the last question, guys, with Entrepreneur A, Entrepreneur B. Let's talk about Entrepreneur X right now.
Okay.
And that person just, you know, they just have a depressing life. You know, nothing's working. They're in the 9-to-5 game. You know, they're suggested with the whole traditional, conventional mindset. They pop on a tape. This is the one they see.
Right.
When the Comfort Killers, and they just need one thing to.
Yeah.
What do they do?
Okay,
what do
so
they do?
the first thing I say is this, because so many people, and if this is you, you're going to understand what I'm saying. They come up with an idea, and they're thinking about it, and then they think it's a killer idea, and then they don't have the guts to go forward. Okay, and so they put it on the shelf, and then a couple months later, they think of something, and it's like they're thinking they're going to do it, and again, they put it on the shelf. People come up to me, I had this idea back, and then somebody else did it.
Yeah.
And you know what I tell them? You have to act now.
Wow.
Because one of my books was called Act Now.
Yes.
And the reason I said that is because so many people just don't move on their convictions and their ideas,
Yes.
and they don't move with their gut. Now, what I'm saying is if it's in your gut, you have to act now. But acting now means surround yourself with the experts, okay? So act by getting a team of experts, I call it the dream team,
Yes.
and then go raise some capital with the idea and execute a plan. It's that simple,
Yeah.
okay? Because if you had the great idea and didn't act upon it, you may never get the next great idea because you're only given so many of them in a lifetime.
Right.
That
true.
you know that are going to be these gems that
true.
drop down like manna from heaven, right?
Yes.
So you know, I think that it's when they come along, you got to move on them. You got to be that entrepreneur. And I say this: whatever you vividly imagine, ardently desire, sincerely believe, and enthusiastically act upon,
Yes.
must inevitably come to pass. And that's Paul J. Myers who came up with that quote. I followed him for 45 years, and unbelievable quote that I live my life by.
Yeah.
Oh, and that means you know where people drop short on this? Enthusiastically acting upon.
Yes.
They envision something,
Yep.
they dream it, they see it, they kind of believe it. They love it, they want it,
Yep.
but they don't
Don't act.
enthusiastically act upon it, and now it's not going to happen. So that's what you got to do.
Preach!
Yeah, there we
I love
go.
it.
Okay.
Yeah. Kevin, I'm going to ask you again, as I asked you at 10X GrowthCon, are you a comfort killer?
Absolutely yes. Okay.
I love you. Thank you so
Okay,
much for
Stacy.
investing time
All
with
right.
us
All
and the
right.
Comfort Killers. I hope you got as much information as you needed. You're always at the right place at the right time. And wherever you are watching this, and all the information will be down below. I had to get uncomfortable today. I had to get up. I had to enthusiastically act. Baby, and action is a big word around here for Comfort Killers. We could think to death, we could dream it, we could look in the clouds, but until you put some effort behind that action, until you energetically get it done, you have done nothing, okay? So stop thinking, get out of the clouds, and let's get uncomfortable. I am Stacy A. Cross, and there is no E in my name. Until next time, Comfort Killers. Have you ever wondered why people don't get your drive, your hustle, your passion? See, they've been sitting around waiting for things to happen to them while you're out here creating and taking massive action for success in life and business. For us, comfort is not an option. We've sat around long enough. We've played their games and listened to conventional wisdom for way too long. Hey, now it's time that we show the world what it means to be a comfort killer. If this is you, click below to join the rest of the army and get suited up with your free starter pack. I am Stacy A. Cross, and there is no E in my name.